Oh man, this is going to be quite holy. So we are at Deep Gap, ready to go. So this is a pretty cool place actually. There's some campsites, there's water sources here, and parking lot. So here's a view. The forest road that leads you in here, really good roads here. There's the AT South, headed up that way. And the North Trail runs right around through here and heads up to Standing Indian. So here's what the trail looks like. lots of rocks. We were headed up from Deep Gap, so we're kind of headed around we're actually curving around the back side of this mountain.
There's a mushroom for Ace.
I know, right? Ace, we've been looking for good mushrooms. We found a few. We ate a few, but we're not sure if that's good or bad. We're on the back side of a mountain. It's really cool. It's dark. Sun's barely getting through the trees, but it's been a pretty good hike so far. I guess we're about a mile into it, maybe a little bit more. This is a really relatively easy hike. You got boulders to contend with at the first part of it, but we're into it pretty good now. It's really nice. Ace, that is a beauty right there. Do you think we could eat that one? I'm gonna bet no. Let me give you a close-up of it. That's a really big, that's probably a good 4-inch wide diameter. So let's see the underside of it.
Oh, wow.
Yep. We're Water Oak Gap, and we are kind of, I don't know how far is this? Is a couple miles into the trail. This is a really good campsite. This is definitely unmarked on the trail maps. A couple spots for some hammocks. Got your makeshift fire pit with lots of hiker trash. Literally trash. Lots of birch trees around. It's surprising to see, but that's probably the bathroom, definitely. Tent section here. It looks like it's been used recently. The plants are down. I bet those guys we passed on the trail probably stayed. Got the birch trees around here to got lots of birch trees around that you could get some good tinder from. One of the really awesome things about getting out in the woods is just the serenity, the peace that you can hear, or even just the silence. I hear birds. I kind of hear the buzz of the flies just kind of hearing, and that's not so attractive, but just the peace of this whole area is really awesome. But if you get out, you'll hear it, or better, you won't hear it, which is really awesome. We're coming up on the next trail intersection. You can see the blazes here. If you don't know about blazes, when you see two blazes, it means the trail split, so there's another option. We are going to be going to the left trail, not the right trail. That's why you can see the trail. The top blaze is over to the left side. Here we have the Chunky Gal Trail. That's a really interesting name. I'm not sure who came up with that one or not. Been a good section so far. Once you pass Water Oak Gap, it really does level out a good bit. It's really green. There's a lot of ferns all over the place. You can probably see that in the video. All the way to Muskrat Creek Shelter, there's one incline that you have to come out. We just got to the top of that, and then it's relatively flat until you get to the shelter. After that, it gets a little bit. There's a couple ups and downs to get to Black Gap. A lot of the trail looks just like this. There's a couple of sections where it gets a bit narrow. We left all the boulders behind. That was on the first incline at a Deep Gap, but the rest of it's been really nice. So this is, what was this?
White Oak Stamp.
White Oak Stamp. There's a camp section here. Apparently there's water out this section. Of course, you can see way up into the trees here. This is kind of creepy actually. So we made it to Muskrat Creek Shelter. There's a lot of campsites around. There's a water source. Oh, yeah. It's the end of June, last day of June, and the water source is okay. You can see here where they've kind of dammed it up, but you've got a nice flowing stream, enough to fill up a water bottle. Even use a Sawyer bag. If you got a pump filter, it'd be a piece of cake. But it looks clean, looks clear. That's good stuff. Here you can see a lot of the campsites look kind of like this. So here's we're headed up to the shelter now. You can tell it's been used. The sites have been used a good bit. You've got a lot of worn grass and open spots. Good tent sites, really flat around the section. Got a lot of good places for hammocks and just everything like that. Here's the shelter. I hate the fact that it's graffiti everywhere. That's,
I mean the carving.
yeah, that's just not cool. A couple of tables that you can eat at, work on. Look up there. Look, it's a Bible. You got these things up top. You see this little things up top keep the rats or mice from climbing down and getting into your bag and chewing a hole in it. But here's the sign. Muskrat Creek Shelter, built in 1995. It's your first AT shelter, right? Yeah. This one's I guess, average size.
It looks pretty
Isn't
big.
too bad.
It's bigger than what I thought.
Yeah, some of them have multiple levels, but I would say this is fairly expected. Just want to kind of take you a walk around. There's a lot of different areas you can camp. The shelter, or the privy's up that way. You can see it through the trees there. But then you've got, man, I mean, it's not super flat, but there are places that are flat. This is actually a pretty big incline. A lot of good places for hammocks though. But this is the first shelter once you get into North Carolina. So you can see a lot of worn ground here. I don't know if you can tell in the camera, but it's definitely sloped down, and it goes down to the fire ring you see here. And you got some kind of tent areas right around here. In prime time, this place is packed out. Well, at least there's a lot of spaces. A lot of bugs, a lot of flies at the shelter. So we were told that at Ravenrock Trail, it's a little trail, side trail on the AT that kind of leads up off, that there's a really spectacular view. So here's the Ravenrock Trail. Oh man, this is going to be quite, holy, wow, son,
Oh my god.
dude, you are out exposed. You trip and fall, it is over.
Yeah, man. 10 dude.
This is ridiculous.
Holy cow.
I mean, we are literally on the
What do you
edge.
think of no poles, man?
Yeah, I know, right? Bring your poles. That is fantastic. Look at that. Totally worth the effort to get here. Ravenrock Trail, take it. We are on our descent down back into Deep Gap. It's been a good hike. Some pretty good views. Really only a couple, but man, I guess the big payoff for this hike is you save all your view time until the very end. And we only went to Muskrat Creek Shelter, but if you hike that Ravenrock, was that what it was?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think Ravenrock Trail.
Hey,
Man, it's a little bit of a trek out there, but man, totally worth going. And even in the month of June, we're on the last day of June, and it was really comfortable. The breeze was nice, the temperature was cool, humidity wasn't too bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're gonna sweat just like any good hike, but I totally don't remember gutting through this. It's funny how you go back on a hike and one way it looks one thing, and then you go back the other direction, you're like, I don't remember ever doing this last time.
It seems like a little bit more damp.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would be.
But it's good. But you got to keep watching where you're going. Otherwise, There's a lot of roots and rocks around here, but it's been a blast. I think we're almost back to the beginning. Definitely on my recommended hike list. And definitely go see the view off Ravenrock. That kind of makes the whole trip worth going. This is about the only switchback we had on the trail. Pretty steep.
Something that's wet.
Yeah. That would not be good. Here's the kind of trail. Kind of coming around there. And we are back, and my car is still here. Fantastic.